Welcome back. So in our Selenium with Java series, we are seeing the TestNG basics, right? So we have seen couple of TestNG features like how you can use the annotations, how you can use the annotation attributes such as your description, priority, depends on methods, depends on priority, and now this is a bit of different topic than your annotation and your attributes is something called as assertion. So in TestNG, there are two types of assertions are there. One is your soft assertion and hard assertion. Now, the first thing is that what is assert actually? So assert is basically to compare your expected with your actual result, right? Actual result in the sense which you are fetching from the browser, and expected is something which you are expecting that the browser should display or should take some actions against your some action, right? Yeah. So that's the way we have the test ng categorized into two parts, that is soft assertion and hard assertion. Let's first see about soft assertion. So soft assertion is the type of assertion that do not throw any exception when the assertion is failing, and it would continue the execution till end. So it means if any of your assertion is failing, like the expected is not equal to the expected, it will not throw you any exceptions, but it will just continue the execution starting from the next line of code. So this is very much important when you have any independent steps are there. So if you have a test case which is having 10 different steps, but all these steps are very much independent, I can give you one practical example of your if you are doing some UI validation. For an instance, so if I go to this particular registration form, here you can see if I want to verify whether it is full name, the spelling is correct or not, if this text box is properly entering the details or not, and then email field. So if you see, if I'm taking the full name and this text box as one step, and email text validation and the text box validation another step, you can see if the full name is the spelling is not coming as correct, even though that is not impacting to your email validation, right? Because these are very much independent of each other. So each of these validations you can put it inside the soft assertion, and then you can just go on with the validating till the complete page is done. Now at the end, whether you want to pass or fail the test cases, you can do that. So that is the thing it is saying. So what you need to do, so TestNG basically exposing one class that is called as a soft assert, which we need to create an object and then start asserting. Now here you can see one of the syntax is soft assert, create an object equal to new soft assert, and then this soft assert object exposes so many different methods. Let me show you that. So for this, what I'm going to do, I'll just copy paste any of our existing. Okay, so let me create a new package and let me keep that as assert samples. Okay, and inside this, what I'm going to do, I'll copy any one of this. Let's copy this one and paste it here and rename this as assert test. Okay, some name I'm giving, and here what I'm going to do, here I'll just put like this. Let me just go over to this particular website only here. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, first I will accept the soft assert, and it is coming from the testng, as you can see. So soft assert equal to new soft assert. Okay, and then after this, when I'm going to do this soft assert, this exposes lot of different methods you can see. Okay, so as you can see, it is giving assert null. Let's say that you want to assert a particular object is null, you can specify that. Let's say false, if you want any evaluation that you are going to do, any comparison that is resulting a false, you can use it here. One of the basic example is assert equals, right? So here you can compare the actual against your expected one. So for an instance, I can do here 2 comma 2. Let's say that 2 comma 2. Okay, I'm expecting this one. Now here let me do one thing. Here I can, for a moment, let me just disable the driver related stuff actually. So here I'm just showing you guys the actual what you call soft assertion, how it works. So just run this one as a main method. You can even use it with the TestNG also. So here you can see it is all passed. There is no problem. Basically, let's use this one into a what you call at the rate test. Then you can see the result as well. Okay, and here I'll just make it like this, and you can just say test sample, some name you can give, right click, run, and you can see this become passed. Let's say that I'm comparing 2 against 3, then what is happening? Let's see. And as you can see, it also passed here. But we are not expecting that, right? Because as I told, the soft assertion will not fail your test case. It will continue the execution and also it will not fail it. To make it fail, what you need to do, you need to use the same. So you need to say soft assert dot assert all actually you need to do. So dot assert all. So here assert oops, assert all. You need to call this method actually. Now what is going to happen? Let me just write some more scenarios here. So let me copy paste this one and then another one, and here I will be using assert true actually. So which is a boolean, right? So here you cannot use this expected and actual. Here I will say that it's assert true is, I'm taking it as false. Okay, I'm making it as like this. Now here, let's say that assert, and you can see some object here I'm declaring, let's say that string, let's say that str, I'm just keeping like this, and I'm expecting that it should be str should be null actually here. Okay, so let's assign this as a null, and I'm expecting that this str should be null. Now let's run this one. Now as you can see, the test case got failed. Before it was not failing. Now if you see the differences here, you can see total test cases ran one but failed. So and again if you see that it basically crossed all of these what do you call soft assertions. Let me show you that as well. So you can just print something called as done, and you should see this done, because see at this moment only my test case should fail, because 2 is not expected as 3, right? But it will go through all of my soft assertions. Actually I need to put it before to this, because as soon as you use this assert all, if any of your these assertions are failing, then it will not go beyond this line. Okay, so that is the thing. So this is kind of your end of your test case. If any step is failing, then this assert all is your end of the line. After this, whatever you do, it will not execute there. Let me show you that as well. So you will say done, and let me show you done again. Just print something. Now let's run this one. Now here you can see the done is printed actually, which is because why the done is printed. Even though any of your assertions is failing, it will continue the execution, but till this assert all only. Assert all failed because we have got some kind of assertion error here, and then that is the reason you didn't get done again here. So that is the thing you need to keep it in mind. Now when you click on this, you will see everything in detail. So so they were expecting 3 but found as true, expected true but you got false. So like this you can get the differences as well. So that is what one of the what you call important thing, or the main logic behind your soft assertion. Now soft assertions, as I told, you can use it in your UI validations, where each of these steps are very much independent of each other. Now to make it fail at the end, you need to always make sure that you are doing the soft assert dot assert all. So this is very much specific to your soft assertions. Let me show you one real-time example. So for this, let me just comment out all these things so that we don't need all these things. And here let me uncomment these things, Okay, now here if you're coming, let me even uncomment all these things, the actual driver validation. Now in this page, let's try to do something actually here. Now here what I'm going to do, first I'm going to enter something and validate it. So here I will write like this. So I will say driver dot find element, and here I will say by dot id, and that is my username. Okay, username, and I will say send case, and here I will print something, and then I will assert it. How will I assert actually here? Soft assert dot assert equals, here I'm first printing the actual means I have to fetch it from my application. So I will say driver dot find element by dot id, and it is my username, and then it is dot get text, no, it's get attribute of value actually. So this will give me whatever I've entered. Now what I'm expecting here, I'm expecting QAV box. So let me just show you that. So I'm expecting this one here. So first this will, what this will do, this will first enter some value into this particular text box. After that it will fetch the value what I have entered and comparing against your QAB box. The same thing let me do with the email as well. So email, let me inspect this one, and here you can see the ID is email, right? So let me just grab these things, and instead of email username I will say email, and I will say at the rate gmail.com. Let's say this is my email ID, and here also I'm comparing with my QAB box only, and this should be email. Okay, so as you can see here, this becomes pass actually, because I'm expecting QAB box, I'm expecting QAB box. Here I'm entering QAB box at the rate gmail.com, but I'm expecting QAB box. So I'm expecting a failure here actually. But this failure will fail my test case if I use this particular statement, soft assert dot assert all. I'm not doing that actually. Let's see what happens. Okay, you can see both of these got printed, and it is now comparing, and you can see the test case got passed. There is no specific errors also it is giving. But if I will be writing this one at the end of my test case, let's say that here actually, for an instance, let's say that here maybe. Okay, now in this case, let's rerun this particular test, and it is waiting for 3 seconds, and quit the browser, and you can see here it should give me, see, expected is QAB box, but what actually it is returning me, the QAB box gmail.com. So that is the thing. But see, the first one executed. Now let's say in between these two, if I'm keeping something like, let's say that I'm kind of telephone, let's say that telephone also. So here I'm expecting the ID is tel, right? So here let me do something here, and here this is tel, and here let me enter some integers. Now see, even though this is failing the soft assertion, this will even print this one, because the assert all is written at the end. So that is the concept of the soft assertion. Even though any assertion it is failing, it will not stop the execution there, it will continue till the end of the line. Let me show you that. And you can see telephone number also got added, but the email validation is already failed actually there. You can see the same error which we got before it came, but it is continuing the execution here. Okay, so that is the two important things you need to remember in case of soft assertion. If the assert fails, it will not stop there, it will go to the next line of code. If you are writing the assert all, then only your test case will fail if any of the specific assertions are failing. Else it will not fail anything, it will just go, I mean pass the exception failure, and then it will continue till the end of the execution. So these are the two or three things you need to keep it in mind while using the soft assertion. Very important in case if your steps are very much independent of each other. Okay, so this is all about your soft assertion seems very straightforward, but there is another exception we have seen, right? That is called as a hard assertion. Now, what is a hard assertion? Let's go back to the hard assertion. It's kind of an assertion which is throwing an exception if any error occurred, or the your assertion is not matching with the expected, then it will fail then and there only. That's why it is hard stop. So it is giving you a hard stop if any of the assertions are failing. Let me quickly show you the example here. So for this, let me right click, copy this one, and in this I will paste it. In this case, I will just say that hard. Okay. So in this case, let's do one thing. Let's use the same thing only, but here I don't need to use this soft assertion, what you call the object actually. So here what I can use directly assert one class is there, which I can use it, and I can import this one. And let me show you the assert. Here, if you see, the assert is coming from TestNG directly. Soft assert is coming from asserts package, but assert is a specific class that is declared in TestNG. So this class is mainly responsible for any of your failures, hard assertions. So if this assertion is not working, it will stop the execution then and there only, and we don't need to use the soft assertion at all because it is the hard stop, right? So it don't need to use anything. So the same methods applicable, whatever soft assert object, this assert equal, assert equals, assert null we were using somewhere, right? All these things, the assert null, assert true, assert equals, everything is applicable for this particular method as well. Now let's see. So the same example I'm taking, but it's a different behavior it will be doing. Here you see the username is printed and it is getting absolutely everything is fine, so it is passing. My test case is, or this step is passing, so here I can say step passed. I will just say that step passed here. But in this case, in the next step here, this step is failing actually. This step is failing. Now before in the soft assertion, it is moving into the next line of code, right? Even though this assertion failed, in this case, it will no longer will print into the telephone number, neither it will close your driver as well, I mean the browser as well. Let me show you that. Let me do one thing. Let me give some weights so that you can see it is not printing there. So I'll make it as 1 second, and here also I'm giving something. Okay, now you can see it won't do anything actually. Here it will just put an assertion. So as you can see, full name got printed. Now it should print the email, but you see the telephone number is not printed, and it's not even closing your browser also, because it's not moving beyond this line actually. It's not moving beyond this line because this step got failed. It's not even entering the telephone number also. You see here the telephone number is blank. So it's very hard stop actually. So there is no going away on that, and this is mainly useful. Let's say that if you have a login screen, now you want to let me just go over to this. Let's say that Facebook you are testing, okay, where you are launching the browser. This is your first step, right? Launching browser and URL, okay, both you are launching, then you are logging in. Now for login, what you need, you need a username field, you need the password, and then you need the sign in. Okay, now after this your step is doing the account validation. Let's say that it's just checking whether you are the user or not. Now in this case, you can see launching browser and URL is very much dependent, the login is very much dependent on this, right? If your browser is not launching, what is the matter of you are executing this step? So here what I can do, after it launches the browser and the URL, I can put any of the exceptions here or the assertions. Maybe probably I will just what you call check with the driver.get URL and what is the expected URL. So if this hard assertion is passing, then only you go to the login screen. Okay. Another thing is that let's say I'm checking the reset password here. Okay, now login screen. Now let's come to the second step. Here I'm checking username, it is working. Password, I entered something. Now let's say that the sign in button I'm clicking and it's not clicking. The sign in button got disabled. Okay, so here username and password is very much sorry, sign in is very much dependent on your username and password, because without username and password you cannot click on the sign in, right? So you can put these two validations into assert, the hard assert. Now once you are clicking on the sign in button, disabled, right? So you are not moving. But reset password is very much independent of your login, right? So it doesn't matter whether you have logged in or not, but reset password you can test it. So what you can do, all these things you can put it into a soft assertion if you want, and you can use the reset password as a separate one. If not, because see, I mixed up actually, right? Here soft assertion and a hard assertion. If you are making the hard assertion here, let's say that username, password and sign in button, everything, let's say username is not working, even you can convert the hard assert into a, I mean, you can continue the execution with the hard assertion also. So you can cover that into a try catch block as well. Let me show you that. So I'm expecting this is failing, right? So this particular statement is not executing. But what I can do here, I can put this one into a try block. Okay, you can see this one, and you go to this. Now here you catch that exception. Actually it's not an exception, right? It's an assertion error actually. You can see assertion error, it is coming from Java lying actually. And here you can just put like this, and you will say that email not entered correctly. You can just say like this. Okay, now you put inside a double quote so that it will print. And then now in this case what we are doing, I'm skipping this assertion so I'm getting the assertion for sure actually. So even you can see the assertion also. So you can say ae dot get message. If you do that you will get the message as well, but it is not actually stopping you to what do you call, to end your execution. It's even moving to the telephone number. Let me just show you that. Okay, email, and after this even you can see the telephone number also got printed. Now here you will see the exception also, which it is didn't. You can see email not entered correctly. Why? Because the expected was qab box, but what it actually fetched is the qab box at the rate gmail.com. So even though the test case is passed, it is giving you the exception. So I mean, there are different possibilities are there. You just need to understand what is soft assertion, what is a hard assertion, and then depending on the situation you can use it. Like in this example I have shown you these things, right? So what you can do, this particular statement you can put it into a hard assertion. If you are thinking this is one step and this is one step, all these things you can put it into a soft assertion, this one also into a soft assertion. If your login is failing, doesn't matter, it goes to the reset password and it will check all the details. And then if you are doing account, now think about this actually, this account is really very much dependent on your login actually. So what you can do, you can even move this one to up actually. Here you can do in this way. Now think about this. Now this reset password is not at all depending, I mean your login and account is not at all depending into a reset password. So what I can do, I can put it into a soft assert. Okay, now all these things I will put the hard assert, and this one also I will put it as a hard assert. Assert means hard assert. Now what is the I mean benefit you will get it? If this is failing, none of these things will work. If this is failing, doesn't matter, these things will continue. But if your login is failing, it will not go to the account to check there, because it will do a hard stop here only, it will end the execution here. So you have to put your mind actually where you want to use soft assertion and hard assertion. I'm just giving you all possible scenarios and all possible features that the assertions are giving, and even you can handle the hard assertion as well by using a try catch block. Just you need to remember that you need to use the assertion error instead of exception, because it's not an exception actually. Assert is always giving you the error, it is, that's why it is stopping the execution there only. Okay, so this is pretty much it about your soft assert and the hard assertion. Hope this particular session is helpful. You can even go back to this particular blog link where I have explained a complete in detail the same thing what we have seen. Either you can watch this video to understand, or else if you want the code base and everything, you can just go and see into the code blocks. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. We will be seeing some more TestNG topics in our upcoming sessions. So stay tuned and do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.